Good early Tuesday morning on the 26th day of July 2016. I have another little story time video that I wanted to do for y'all. Thought you might enjoy this one. Back in my days on the farm, I had all kinds of critters and used to go shopping 2 or 3 times a week to add a few more, and then several times a week there'd be a few leave. Folks would come around that wanted something that I had there at the farm. Well, this one particular week, I decided that I was going to add some goats to the. So I went to a sale and I bought a few little goats to put out there in the farm and brought them home. I had a pen all fixed up for them and put the feed and water and stuff in. And I noticed that the little billy goat that I got wasn't feeling very well. And he was just a little feller. He hadn't been weaned very long. And it didn't look like anybody had really taken any special attention to him. Oh, he was so pretty. He was a little black and white spotted billy goat. And I got to looking him over and I noticed that he had an upset stomach and he had a few sores around his mouth that needed to be doctored on a little bit, but he was awful skittish because nobody worked with him at all. And so right there in the pen, I just popped myself down right there in the straw, and I got to talking to him. He was across the pen from me, and he kept looking me over as I talked to him. I was just soft and gentle and just kept talking. And finally, after a little while, he decided that he'd get a little bit curious, and he kind of wandered over to me a little bit. And being a little billy goat, he shook his head at me some, and wanting to play, but he wasn't really feeling good enough to really get into it. And I'd taken the medicine and stuff that I needed with me in there to the pen and a towel and, everything that I was going to need to work on him with. And he finally ventured over to me, and I just cuddled him up to me and just petted him and talked to him nice and calm and built up a little trust with him. And I'd scratch him behind his ears. He seemed to like that. And I scratched his back for him, and he liked that. I'd rub his little tummy, and he really enjoyed that. And finally, I got the medicine in him, and I put some medicine there around his mouth where he had the sores on him and started getting him so that he could feel a little bit better and heal up. And so I went out 2 or 3 times every day for the next week and just sit there on the floor with him, and me and him made friends. And he was the nicest billy goat that anybody could ever wish for. He was just sweet and calm and responded very well to me loving on him. And me and him kind of developed a special bond. I could go out to the barn and I could holler for him. Oh, here he'd come because he wanted to see me anytime I come out there. And people come around and want to see the animals. And the first place I'd take them was out to the goat pen, and I'd holler for him. And his name was Cledus. I named him Cledus. And I said, come on out here, Cledus. And he'd come out, and he had this little trick that he'd do. He'd roll up his lips. He'd just grin at whoever the visitor was. He'd just grin. And everybody'd laugh. And I'd give everybody a little handful of grain, to feed him through the fence. And he was just as sweet as he could be. And the moral of the story is that, there's an awful lot of people that they're hard-hearted and they approach people in I'd say a haphazard way, and they don't take people's feelings into consideration, and they don't take time and patience to work with people and make friends with them and get to know them. And they're quick to judge. They're quick to throw out a dig or a gouge at somebody. And Daddy always taught me that you catch more flies with sugar than you do vinegar. And it's always easier to get along with somebody if you're nice to them than it is that if you say something mean and hateful. And I guess the major moral of the story is even an old goat can feel love.